Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. We need some more space. You can sit on the floor if you want to get comfortable. It's really totally okay. Yeah, thank you guys for making your way over here. So my name is Neil McKenzie. I'm the Senior Vice President of Marketing here at Universal. You're in the Learning Center, where we've had a number of educational and informative events that cover a wide variety of topics. And we do record all these. So the same place, if you registered with us, they are made available on that same website. So universalfurniture.com/market events. So we'll put the links up there. And then if you registered through us, we'll email you a link to all the events. So if you registered for one, the good news is you're going to get them all. So makes it nice and easy. So yeah, like it or not. Yep. Yeah. So, and then we put them on YouTube and all the places you can go watch video content. So thank you guys for coming. If it's your first time here, there is a ton to see in this building. The building is 3 floors. So we have elevators that are located in the cafe to go up to floors 2 and 3. On floor 3, we have a new introduction of Modern. It's about 185 SKUs. Lots of different materials, just a great opportunity to kind of immerse yourself in some new things. We also have our Coastal Living Outdoor collection and Coastal Living. Floor 2, there's some in-stock looks on a variety of collections that we offer. And then the first floor, the ground floor that we're on now, we have all of our special order offerings, including some new special order dining chair programs that we offer. And then we're also doing the sit test, which is located over here on the bottom floor. So you can go sit down and you get 10% off your next order of special order. So we have 3 different cushion options that we offer within special order. And you can determine which is your favorite, of course, but it's an opportunity to kind of truly give it a shot and see what your rump says. So if you want to see any of that and experience the sit test, as well as the Designer's Lounge, where we're going to host a small gathering, little meet and greet afterwards, just check in at the front desk. If you don't mind, they'll just scan you. And then everything in our building is also tagged. So you can actually grab a scanner at the front desk. You can scan anything that you like. When you check out, hand that scanner back, you'll get an email with all the things that you saw. So it's a little easier than necessarily taking pictures of stuff, but you can do that as well. And feel free to share and tag us. So I'm going to turn it over to LuAnn, who will introduce herself and the panel. And thank you guys for being here at High Point Market at Universal. Thanks, LuAnn. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Neil. All righty. You ready to make some money? Yeah. I don't know. That wasn't really that encouraging. Are you ready to make some money? Thank you. All right. My name is LuAnn Nigara. I am the host of the podcast, A Well-Designed Business, as well as Window Treatments for Profit. So if you want to learn about window treatments, head over there. All right. And I love doing this. I love being here with you guys. I love talking to you guys. And I love picking the brains of smart people, which is what we're going to do today. So we have Sara, Malek, Barney from Band Design, right? Watch me do this. Watch me try and do all this off the top of my head. It should be fun, and I'll do my very best. I'm worried about where's that spot that the thing is going to start screaming at me, the microphone, the speaker. Okay. This little lady here was on my podcast, and she moved from LA to Texas. And she built her business up again, like from the ground up again. She comes from film and TV and all of that good stuff. She was in a mastermind with me, and she's one smart cookie. That's what I want to tell you about Sara. So get ready. Okay. All right. And then we have Lisa Walker Brown, right? And she and her husband own Everick Brown Interiors, and Everett is here with us. They're out of the New York City area. And what I love about this is it's the opposite of what we normally find. He's the pretty and she's the money. How cool is that? How cool is that? Right? She's the COO. She runs the stuff, right? So love that. Okay. We're going to get to know about their different revenue streams. And then we have Lucy Penfield. Lucy was on the podcast as well. My takeaway from being on the podcast with you was you're the body of knowledge, the seasonality that you brought to the conversation. And the
I'm old.
Yeah, well, we're right there together there, sweetie. But I love those conversations, right? Because we are not afraid of the ups and downs. We know it's going to come and it's going to be fine, but we've got to weather it out. You guys are getting there. I know you are, but Lucy and I connected on that. So, all right. So today we're talking about revenue streams, diversifying your revenue streams. I feel very penned in by this thing. I'm just going to tell you. So the thing about it is, one thing I just want to make perfectly clear, I'm sure you're going to get some great ideas today about how to diversify your revenue stream. And I want to say to you, I'm all for it. I literally am all for it, right? You want to have your money coming from different buckets, different verticals, so that if one is a little slow, a little dry, you're not like, crying, in a puddle of mud on the bathroom floor. However, we have to be very disciplined about not chasing the next shiny object for the fact of chasing it. And so I'm just giving a little caveat because I'm sure that these three are going to be very talented. They're going to get you psyched up. They're going to be like, and you're like, I can do that. I can do that. Right? So just take it with what really feels good for you. All right. So what I want you to do is, I never give the questions ahead of time, but this crew asked for the questions. I was like, all right, I can promise the first one I'll remember. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to tell us each the main vertical of what the diversified revenue streams are, because they might all be different for the three of you. And then we'll have some perspective on where to go and how to pull it apart. Okay. So Sara, talk to us about what your revenue verticals are.
So obviously I have the design side of things. So I have the standard vertical.
Time out. There's nothing obvious about that.
Oh,
I don't know
sorry.
what the design center thing is.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I got this. So I do own a high-end interior design firm. So from that traditional perspective, we have design fees and then we get product revenue. So those are our two, let's say, main verticals. Now, when we diversified, we launched into real estate development. So we have an ancillary arm called, my company's Band Design. The company is Band Development. And so we focus on high-end design forward flips and spec home builds.
Whoa. Okay. I'm going to just hold all the questions that just went through my mind. Okay. Lisa.
Okay. So we have Everick Brown Design, but our business really started as an accessory business. So we started as, having a different revenue stream. Everick had an accessory store, and from that he grew into a furniture store, and from that started doing design, taking accessories out to homes and accessorizing, and then that became our interior design business, full, and closed the stores.
Wow.
And now our accessory business is our side gig. Because we have to put our time and energy into the biggest return on investment, which is our high-end design.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, cool.
Ladies, lots of good stuff. We are a luxury high-end design firm as well, and do projects all over. The exciting thing is, a few years ago, we got into the market of affiliated with developing a pillow collection and got into accessories. And that was very exciting. And just 2 months ago, we landed on the street and opened up a studio and a shop. So that's our.
So you're going the other way.
Vertical.
You went backwards,
street.
right?
Yep.
Forward, backwards, went the other
Yep.
way. Okay.
Yes.
So here's the thing. So I want to understand the why. So why did you decide to go from interior design to property development? And, we'll go through it that way. So, because it's like, it can't just be for a whim, right? So tell me why.
So there's a couple of reasons. The main reason is I wanted to be the client. I was tired of my clients at the time and being beat up by my clients. But so that was a big piece of it. So I can make my own decisions and really create my own vision. But the big piece of it was I lived in Austin, Texas, and the architecture there leaves little to be desired for the most part. And sorry, I hear like gasp, like I don't mean it in a mean way. But it was more like there was so much going up and brand new homes, and they were just big white boxes, and there was nothing special about them. And so I felt the need to sort of create something a little bit more special, a little bit more design forward. So it was that designer in me that made me really want to change the landscape of my city.
Okay. And how long ago did you branch out into that?
We bought our first property in 2021, but it's a slow go. It's not like an overnight thing. So we're right now have our first home on the market.
Okay. Because I'm like, I want to know, are you making money on it? And blah, 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 but we're going to keep rolling along.
Sorry.
Okay. Right. No. So I'm going to try and remember. So Lisa, at what moment did you guys say, hey, because we know the switch, right? You were in accessories and decided to go to full service. So what was that switch about, and why did you guys decide to do that?
Well, it really was the market. So we had, 9/11 and then the market. So Everick ended up closing the stores. But by that time, he'd already built up such a great interior design network with our client base in Northern Westchester. And so he, from going out and taking product into clients' homes and designing around that, he ended up, having really a great customer base and the whole little network. We don't really advertise. We get a lot. Everything is word of mouth and everything is networking and everything is relationships. So from that, when we ended up closing the stores, the design business just shot off.
Okay. Okay. All right. Love it. And Lucy, why do you want to have a shop and sell
I know.
pillows and all the things? I mean,
why
I'm
in
just
this
saying
stage
why.
of life? A couple things. We do. We love the curating and the styling for our clients. But to be able to do it for yourself, as Sara mentioned, we never have that opportunity. So to represent our brand on the street and entice you and invite you in is like magic. And being one-on-one with a potential client or your clients popping in, that relationship and the development. So anyway, and it's a great test
And
market.
you're getting Everick all excited about a store again. I don't appreciate that.
I'm sorry.
I don't want a store again.
I already
He's like,
told him.
yes.
And earlier I told
He's
him
like-
he looked very dapper in his
I
suit.
love that store. Oh, no.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. So I hear it. So the thing is though, so we have these different reasons, these different whys. You and Lucy similar shared. You want to see your vision expressed. You want to attract the people in that appreciate your vision. And you guys, it's literally just the expression of the full vision, just not just accessories, but let's do the whole space, right? So my question is how did you do any market research, any data, anything that said, hey, here's this crazy unicorn idea, and it will probably work because of this evidence? So did any of that happen for any of you?
Find the most expensive real estate and go for it. We dove into a little hamlet and we thought, if you're going to go do it, go big and go in a hot spot where real estate's moving.
Okay. So to that though, Luce, I mean, did you have 3 months or 6 months of operating expenses, like, the weeds of it? Because, we can't just go open up a store in the most expensive street in town if we don't do a little something, right?
That's true. You need at least 6 months backlog and cushion.
Right. Okay. Buying houses doesn't seem very easy or inexpensive to do.
It's not. So the quick story of how we got started, early 2020, before COVID, I had this idea and I wanted to explore it. And then COVID happened. So I was like, I don't know, we shouldn't do this. Who knows what's going to happen to real estate? Cut to about a year later, I was talking to an investor friend of mine and I was telling him my idea. And he said, I want to do that. And I said, no, it's my idea. You can't have it. And he said, no, let's do it together. And so that's when we sort of formed together. He was the money and I was the brains. And we actually bought our first house in, I want to say March of 2021, sight unseen, thinking we were just going to flip it. It'd be like this fun little cute project. And we saw it, and the foundation needed $70,000 of repair. So it became a spec home overnight. We hired a builder and architect. And 6 months later, as we were about to go start building it, he said, the market's really crazy. Why don't we just put it on the market? We ended up selling it for 50% more than what we paid for it 6 months later. And all we did was mow the yard.
Wow.
So I was kind of pissed, to be honest, because I had designed it. I had picked everything. I was ready to see it and I never got to see it. We just sold it, but it was a business decision at the end of the day. Yeah. So you have to kind of let go of that emotion of it as well.
Okay. And how many years for you guys had it gone in between for when you were an accessory shop, closed it, and then or what was that progression like? In other words, what I'm wondering is, did you have to re-educate your potential clients? Like, oh, we're not just accessories, we're full service. Like, was that a thing or it just happened?
It grew from just an accessory store to, which also was most trendy in Westchester Magazine.
Nice.
Best store, you won all kinds of awards. So that just grew into a furniture store.
Okay.
And that was maintained for several years.
While you did the full service interior design.
Exactly.
Okay. So there wasn't like, I have to re-educate everybody who knows me as one thing, because that would be a hurdle, right?
Well,
that would be.
We ended up getting a lot of media attention. all the time, just because it was a concentrated area, and it's a great store and it was unique in the area. And I think that helped. So we were educated through media and through events, hold events in the store. That's always really great, right? And I think that, people just kept coming back to the store because he was always changing it. And I think he was talking to one of the designers yesterday who was opening a new studio and saying, you got to change your window all the time, make it a new, interesting story. You're always telling a story. So, that's all he does. He's constantly changing, the environment to create an interesting story.
Nice. Very nice. Okay. So I just want to make sure we don't run out of time because I want to know the horror shows too. So tell me a hard lesson. Tell me a surprise. Tell me something that when you did it and you just let that surprised me and what? Because you know what I'm going for. I can't just be all sunshine and unicorns because that's nonsense. Business isn't like that. So going into a retail shop or closing the furniture store or going into real estate, and I don't mean you're on, just a real thing.
Well, I mean, the real thing for me is the market, and it's definitely different than it was in 2021. And we have a house on the market right now that it looks beautiful and it's gotten a lot of attention and it's gotten offers, but it's still there.
And your money's sitting in it.
Yes. And there's the possibility that you don't make any and you come out a wash and you don't know. So that's the risk that goes with real estate.
Okay. And so you mentioned that he was the money and you were the brains. So when you flipped the first house, when you went into the second one or is it a 50-50 now? Or are you both on the line?
So we do take a split. I've always taken a split. And I actually reinvest the money back in. So I'm actually now also the money, but to start out, he was the funds and now we split.
And did you start a separate LLC? Thank you.
We do a different LLC for every property so that each property cannot be held liable. And exactly. Yep.
Okay. I love that. That's a good tip right there. I like that. Okay. And then, right. So Lisa, what has been the challenge? Has there been any challenge or do you have such a good story brand?
Every day there's a challenge.
Okay.
So yes, I mean, even getting, having to close the stores, that was devastating. It was at, 9/11 and the Wall Street crash. And so it's time to close up. But we found that just like in 2020, people really sort of settle into home when things go down and then they start looking around. So 2020 was our best year because everybody was, looking around and seeing all the cracks and seeing all the ugly. And, we ended up getting a lot of media attention and we ended up getting a lot more business and shifting our business. We don't just do residential, we do commercial, we do experiential. We'll go anywhere. We're not just in New York. We're all over the country. We will go anywhere and do, a project that's worth our time. But we will go, anywhere, and we're always looking for different revenue streams. We, are doing collaborations. Those are opportunities to, get a paid, campaign. So we're always looking for different ways because you cannot rely on one thing, because, anytime, real estate market, same thing, right? That could crash. And then all of a sudden, Sara just can't be trying to sell homes. You got to go back to design. Yeah. So that's what we do. We're just constantly looking to provide a different revenue stream so that when one goes down, we're still supported in another way. Because I don't want to go back to AT&T.
Hello.
Right. So, Luz, okay.
Well, I was just going to add, I think the common thread here is being nimble.
Yeah.
Being in life as a designer and in this business is a journey. And we're all entrepreneurs, which is so scary because when we're high, we're high.
Yep.
And when we're low, it's really
scary.
Really scary. You don't have a corporation to support you as a revenue stream. So you've got to just trust your soul, trust your gut, know when to say no and when to go for it. And I don't know, I was just hearing the common thread of the risk takers.
Yeah.
And
100%. And so you're really zeroing in on what I wanted, this nimble part.
Yes.
Lisa's talking about, and we this, and we figure that out, and we go across the country and all the different things. And so that was literally what the question in my head was when you were saying that. It's so that's interesting and it's nice and I'm happy, but how do you as a company sit down and have 10 opportunities and figure out which one you're going to chase? That's what I'm wondering.
It's extremely difficult because it's like, oh, I could do that. Well, I could do that. I could do that. But unless you have the main core of your business down,
Love that.
then the rest is going to fall apart and you're going to be spread way too thin.
Okay, so that's
we
key.
we did exactly that, because with prior to 2020, we were really focusing on our retail business, which is objects and accents, and we have accessories in Cisco Home. We have accessories in Cliff Young. We were doing a little business where we're helping designers accessorize because they don't like to do that. Everick loves it. So just, this was sort of like, this is going to be our moneymaker. We're going to stick with accessorizing. You love it. It's your passion. But 2020 hit, and it was like we started getting all these design projects. So we had to, relook at where's our biggest return on investment, really not making, because of shipping, because of the cost of shipping, because of the cost of packaging, all the time it went into our revenue stream on objects and accents wasn't that great. And it just did not, really, it wasn't worth all the time, because we could put in 10 hours on objects and accents, or we could put in 10 hours on a project and make 3 times.
Right.
So we ended up, deciding, okay, let's keep this business kind of going a little bit, but let's really focus on design. And that's
Right. And here's the thing, you don't know that unless you
Right.
are actually doing the autopsies of your
Right.
projects, right?
Yeah.
So I did an interview, it aired a couple of weeks ago on the Window Treatment for Profit podcast. And she is an interior designer in California that, she does window treatments. She has them. So she listens to both shows, right? And she sat there and she said, it's 12 o'clock at night. I'm sitting there hunched over my books, trying to figure out what's going on. I'm in a business X amount of years. Why is it not the kind of revenue generator that I'm doing $1 million in sales a year, gross revenue? And why am I working like a beast, basically? And she was listening to an episode where I did a solo show where I was like, where is the revenue generator in your firm?
Right.
Like, where is it? Like, you think it's like in custom furniture. Great. Is it though? Can you prove that to yourself? You think it's in full service projects. Can you prove it to yourself? Right. And so what she did was she said that she had the aha that, wow, she went and looked up that she had done $1 million, I think, in sales in luxury full service design. But the bottom line number on the P&L for how much she sold window treatments was $100K. And she understood immediately. That's absurd. That's absurd. Every window treatment project at a luxury design level should be 30, 40, 50, 60, 80K per. I mean, 3 motorized shades are freaking $3,000. Let's be serious, right? And so she literally said, that's it. I'm going to lean into window treatments. She hired a window treatment professional to work in-house. She started leading with window treatments in every project. And in 6 months, she added $750,000 additional gross revenue, which I'm going to tell you is $375,000 of profit if you're selling window treatments properly. Okay. So I'm just going to say, so, but that was the thing. It's like, oh, I am leaving all this money on the table, but it comes from the valuation, as you just said, Lisa, of what am I doing and what am I not doing here?
LuAnn, I was going to
Lisa.
also say, as designers and creatives, we hope that we have the great business acumen. If you don't hire a business smart person.
Yeah.
Because I think to help you evaluate just exactly what you were identifying.
No, it's so true because like I got the Vincennes, Everett has Lisa, like who's in your corner, right? Who do you really have that knows how to break that information out? And you can hire it. You don't have to marry it. You can hire it.
And actually, I don't really want to do this job. We're telling him to fire me, please, because I want to do the
beg
fun
to be
stuff.
fired for 40 years, girl. Don't even think about it.
But we also hired a business manager at 2020, the very beginning. He came to me and like, we have no money. What are you talking about? Like, no, we need to put this money into this business manager, and let's get some help. How are we going to pivot? Because nobody knew what was going to happen. We just knew that everybody stopped working.
Right.
And
For a
the
minute.
contractors
For a
that were
minute.
working on a project.
For a minute.
Right.
And then we were like
yeah.
inundated,
We
right?
were freaking out. Exactly. But
Yeah.
at the beginning, it was terrifying, right? We all woke up like we can't even leave the house. So how are we going to make money? And so we did hire this business manager who really helped us sort of, like clean up our brand and how should we put ourselves forward and how should we, reach out to clients and it just helped because even if, I think the first question he asked Everick is, well, what are you doing and what should you do differently? And we're like, well, I don't know, So it's just an opportunity to look like with the money, you want to look at your business all the time and look at how it can be better and how it can be changed and how you can shift your branding and how you can, do your photography, like, Joe was just talking about. There's so many things that constantly have to change. And so it's a constant thing. And sometimes you just need somebody to give you a list because we're so busy. We're all over the place. You just need a list. Here's what you should start doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to go back to something that you mentioned is that if and when you decide to start to diversify, the main thing that pays the bills has to be locked down.
Right.
We can't do 6 things like half, right? We have to do at least one really good. And then we can add and build and learn because you're going to probably make some mistakes as you add the second. Just if you remember back to when you first opened your business, it wasn't always easy, right? But that comes to the backbone of the systems and the processes, right? So question for you, how many people on your team, Lucy?
6.
6 people. What are their roles?
We have 4. Well, actually, we have 4 designers, and then we have an expediter and the business manager, our managing director.
Okay. And do you oversee creative? Do you oversee
Yes.
that or do you have that off?
No,
No.
it's my
You love that part.
everything. I love that
Yeah.
part.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I've met some that, push it off, but
Yes.
most of you keep it,
Yeah.
right? You love all the pretty. I
Yeah.
get it. Yep. Okay. How many people you guys have?
I think 6 also.
6?
But we have a strategic planning manager, who's sort of our CEO, and then a project manager, assistant designer, and an associate designer, another associate designer.
Love it. How about you, Sari?
So earlier, this isn't a short answer, but earlier this year we were a team of 11. And then I looked at my business and did not like it. And so I downsized and now we're a team of 3.
Nice. Wow.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Smart girl.
Right. Don't tell
I'm
that.
much happier with it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it is a thing. I remember, back in the day when Vin and I had Window Works and we had 1 showroom, then 2, and then 3, and then we had like 24 employees or whatever it was. And I remember it was like the game of who's not coming to work today.
Right.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning, well, this one's not coming. It's like, right. And then we brought it back down to 1 showroom and, it's a growth and there's positive and negatives of all the things. So you're down to 3.
I'm down to 3 and I've never been happy. Well, I've been happier, but let's not get crazy. But like, but I get to like be in it again.
Right.
And I was so much like you're saying, managing people.
Yeah.
And dealing with client issues and having to deal with quality control issues because
Yeah.
when you have that many people, it's
Brutal.
impossible to keep the quality up
Yeah.
to the level you want it to be at in high-end design. So now I actually get to design again, which I don't know, I might get over it again,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Right
Yeah.
now, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very happy.
There's 2 things I want to pull out that Lucy stressed is the business management. And of course, Lisa has mentioned that they have a strategist and all of the things. It's funny because you and I know each other because of that. So Eileen Hahn is in the audience today. If you know her, she's my cousin. She's a leadership consultant, business management strategist. And literally, it was like the 4th day of COVID. And I get a DM from a designer and she's like, I have a $3 million business and I've been building it for 30 years. It cannot go under. You need to do something to help me. And I was like,
Oh, LuAnn.
whoa, okay. And she said, get me in a room with people. And the funny thing is, and as I mentioned, Eileen, is because it actually was probably the 2nd week of COVID because Vinny and I were like, Eileen, we have a $3 million business. It's been going for 35 years and it can't go under, And so we were meeting because you have to get out of your own head. You have to see what's right in front of you that you're not seeing because you get emotionally attached. And then we put together the mastermind and Sara was a part of that. So Eileen is here, by the way. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm so thrilled that all of you invest in that.
I was going to also add the back end of the business. I think is so important. It just for orders and processes, not just the people, but having a very sophisticated system. And we use Design Manager. We've used. Do you? No, it's wonderful, and it's been also fantastic for the shop because you have to inventory. That was another hurdle.
Yeah,
but it's just having really good system.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you know how I feel about that. My Doma studio. Let's be serious.
Well,
true.
that's what Kathy said in the panel before us. She said, your business doesn't rise to your aspirations. And correct me if I get this wrong, your business falls to your systems.
Great.
And
Wow.
it was like, ow.
Great
Right.
line.
It was such a sting, as Joe said, because it's absolutely true. And that is exactly where we fall apart is our systems. And
Right.
we're still to this day struggling over, how to get that right. It's always a pain point.
So here's what I would ask you. There is, Lisa just mentioned, it's a constant struggle.
Yep.
You never walk in your business, go, got
That's
it
great.
all.
Got
This
it
is
all."
awesome.
Right,
Like,
right, right.
I can take a break. You know what I mean? Like legit. Like I do meet some of you earlier in your career and you think that's what you're going for. You're not. You're going for that it is a duplicatable process and that you can do it each time the same way. And if you're not in the building, somebody else can do it without having to say, well, no, that's not the way we do this. That's not the way I do it this way. Like, you know what I say on the show all the time? If how you do it is in your head, you have a you do not have a business. Right? It's a you. That's great for you that you know how to do it, but you're, break your ankle and you don't come to work for 6 weeks, we're beat, right?
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, how many of you here feel like this is like, and okay, who listens to the podcast? Okay, so you know me then, right?
Yeah.
This is not about like calling you out. This is not about embarrassing you. This is about we've got to actually face certain things. So the thing is, how many of you feel like, yeah, scale of 1 to 5, I'm 3-ish on my systems. I'm feeling pretty good. Okay, so that's 3-ish. Or do we?
Right.
I should have said 5s. Who feels like they have 5s? Oh, so we are actually lower than 3.
Yeah.
I get it. Believe me, I get it. It's an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle. All right. And so the thing is, it's like everything else. The first thing is admitting you have a problem. Right. And the second thing is seeking out advice and help. Right. I mean, you guys are seasoned. Do you feel like you have it all locked down?
Not in the slightest.
Because as soon as you think you do, someone is doing it better, right? And you're like,
Or you try something new just because you're bored. Because we love
See,
it.
that's exactly what I was trying to avoid in this conversation, sweetie. Yeah. No, I mean, and the thing is, it's like, you guys know I'm doing LuAnn Live in a couple of weeks, right? And it's a big event. A couple 100 designers are going to come. Hope you're all going to be there, by the way. And literally on the daily, the Voxer is, okay, somebody please revise the Monday board for that thing we just forgot. Like my thing is I know we're going to make a mistake every day. I know we're going to, because there's too many balls. There's too much. But what makes me crazy is if we don't take the step to document what the change is. Because my team knows, we can make mistakes and I'll be like, that stinks. But if we make the second mistake the same way, the second, third time, LuAnn loses her, then she's not nice. She's not that lady you hear on the show. She's full Jersey at you. She's like, so, that's the thing, because it's about getting the iteration better each time. Right. Yeah. And to the point, this brings it back to have the aspirations, have the desire to diversify. But the one thing that pays the bills, whatever it is, has to be locked down, because you're going to step away, right? It's like twins. Like you can't just like one fend for themselves while you go do the other when they're newborn. It's like, no, they both need to be fed and all the things. But like a 5-year-old, you could be like, okay, stand over there while I change a diaper and I do the things, right? Like you've got to get it settled so that it can run, right? All right. So you told me the tough part. How about a joyful part, something that just like makes you smile, you're proud of, that you've done, that you want to share with somebody? No proud things, Everett. Come on.
Anyway, as soon as a client sends you a picture and says, it's so beautiful, we're so happy. We've been getting that a lot lately. That's always fun. But the fun part of this business is always the cocktail parties. Sorry. It's like that's because other than that, it's a lot of, work, right?
So it's the relationships.
It's the relationships.
It's the
You meet such great
relationships.
people, and what is, I think, was a surprise for a lot of us was how, and it, sort of hit a few years ago, and I asked yesterday if this changed in the business, was how good of friends we are to each other. And I was talking to Sara about this, joining your quiet. Yeah.
I can talk about it.
You're talking about it. But, the relationships and the support. So, we've done some showcase houses, and we really just dig in and help each other. And I get on the phone with like the A team, and I'll say, can you tell me how you did that contract? Or can you share with me how much you would bill for this project? We're doing a church right now. And I just had no idea. I reached out to Alyssa Grayer, and I'm like, what should I do? I don't know how to really bill for this.
Right.
And so oh, you're way too low. You need to be charging this much. And if we share how much we bill, we'll all make more money. So please talk to, your peers or your friends and in this community about what is that? Oh, you can't hear me? Sorry. Yeah, talk to everyone about, how should I bill, how you bill, share that information, because all of us will make more money as long as we don't feel like afraid of that number. And, don't spend your clients' money. You don't know. They buy $2,500 shoes all the time.
Right.
People are doing that. They're going to buy that sofa. They don't think they should.
Right. I think that support system is key.
Yeah.
We have a dinner club and a book club, but you bounce off ideas. It's very stimulating and invigorating, and you get great advice. So definitely that would be a first step of bonding and connecting with peers.
Yeah.
I feel like they're teeing me up perfectly for this. Actually, right after this, we're going to have a cocktail reception. I'm launching in 2024 a networking group called the Designer Alliance, and I'm happy to talk to anybody about it. But it is based on that, and I was kind of spitballing it to you. But it's local chapters, but smaller groups that you sit down with and you share the nitty gritty. You do the highs, the lows, the top 5%, the bottom 5%, and it's under the umbrella of total confidentiality. And I will share with you. I'm not a gatekeeper, and I feel like knowledge is power. And if you need my painter, I'm not going to go out of business if I give you my painter's information. Right. Like, it's not a big deal. And I don't mind tagging vendors in my posts. Like, who cares? So I don't like to gatekeep in that way. And so this whole organization is going to be based on sharing that knowledge. Because what if I haven't been charging enough and I could have been making double, and I didn't know that everybody else was paying you that rate? Like, that's crazy.
100%. I remember I did a presentation at Century Furniture in, I probably shouldn't say that. I did a presentation in Washington, D.C. one time.
On Century Boulevard.
Southern place.
In not North Carolina.
I'm usually better than that. I usually don't make those kind of little missteps. Anyway, but I was doing this presentation in D.C. and there was about 180 designers in the space. And we got to the Q&A, which we're about to get to, just so you know. And one person raised their hand and said to me, I know you're always talking about making sure you're charging your value, that you really are, and that you can't just go by the dollar, like $1.50 an hour. It's not like the guy at Starbucks is making 17 and you're making $1.50 and yay. No, the guy at Starbucks is taking taxes out, period. Like, you're taking all the other operational expenses out. All of it. I don't care if you work out of your own home. Your gas to and from the job is coming. Your clothes are coming out of it. Let's be serious. You're designers. You can't show up like schlucks, right? You got to look the part, right? So she says to me, you're always talking about raising your prices, making sure we're charging our worth. I have to say, in my area, it's not really possible. And I was like, oh, I love that you just said that. Because you guys, we're in High Point. You're from all over the world. What I know is there is no such thing as in my area. You know where your area is? It's between your ears. That's the area. That's where you justify, what you're going to pay. It's what you internally understand, what you're going to earn. You internally understand your value. Are you delivering a client experience? Are your processes locked down? And then you start to realize how hard you're working to do that. And you start to say, not for less than this. And so, but when you are in a design center that's local, so I said, okay, what are you charging an hour? And whatever it was, I know it was 125, 190, whatever it was. And so I said, okay, how many people in here are charging up to 100? Hands go up to 150. Hands go up to 200. Up to 250, up to 375. I went all the way up to 550 and a hand still went up. And I said, now somebody raised their hand that lives more than 25 miles distance from this building. No, there were no hands. So I said, so in your area, you can only get 85, but in the same area, you can get 550. So the area that determines it. Okay, right? I know you guys know this. Yeah. All right, you guys have questions? All righty, Jamie. Repeat her question.
Yeah. So she asked if I take money up front for my services on top of the split from our development projects. And the answer is yes. So he pays my firm a design fee that covers a lot of different things. So one thing I didn't mention is we also do partnerships, brand partnerships with the houses that we're working on to get things at cost, deals, whatever. So that helps our bottom line. So that doesn't come for nothing because then my time's involved in that and my team's time is involved in that. So we do get paid as a firm and then on top of the revenue from the project. Yeah.
Love it, right? Because he would have had to pay somebody else to do it. That's right. Love it, love it, love it. Any other questions? You know, I'm just going to tell you, that's like disciplining your sister's kids. Shut up. That's exactly. Not a good look.
It's not going to go well.
Right, right. Like, so she's saying, did you guys hear the question? So she's a designer and a renderer. And she's saying, how does she not, you know, she's passionate. She wants the project to be better. She feels like she can add something to make it better. But no, two separate businesses. I mean, am I crazy? Would you want your renderer telling you what to do?
Yeah, you really have to stay in your lane in order to have a great partnership. You know, that's the thing. Like Everick and I are a husband and wife team. And, you know, people say, how do you do that? Well, he's the designer. And really, that's where, you know, it stops. Like, he always asks my opinion. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? And I'll give it if I think it's of value. But a lot of times I'm like, you're the designer, you know, and he still wants my opinion. And then sometimes it's helpful. But, you know, at the end of the day, the client will be like, well, did Everick say this? You know, as soon as I bring something like my brother-in-law, even, well, has Everick saw this? You know, does he agree? You know, and at the end of the day, he really, really, really knows. And it's right when he's, you know, and I have to trust that. And, you know, he doesn't get involved because my work isn't fun for him. So he stays in his lane, you know.
I would say you'll continue to get more business if you stay in your lane.
Yeah.
And you show up with beautiful renderings. That designer will come back.
Yeah.
Right, right. Like, you don't want to be schooled by your renderer.
Yeah.
I'm
We
just telling
really
you,
don't want to hear from you about that.
Oh, heart-wise. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
I think once you see the money you make from it, you won't care about the hard part of it.
You know what? Let them mess it up so they have to come back for more renderings. It's all right.
Well, you know, take it out 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, right? You're the renderer that executes the beautiful visions for each of the clients, or you're the renderer that's constantly correcting the designer's stuff.
Right.
Like, who do you want to be? This was outstanding. You guys were amazing. I knew you would be. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, guys.